Hi, I'm Joyce Stork, and this is Heidi Blank, who is going to help us learn today how to divide a clone clump of African violets. A little alliteration there, clone clump. We have now got our clumps that were growing ever since October in the fall. And so the first thing we're going to do is just take these out and take a look at these. So, Heidi, what do you observe has happened?
It has grown a lot.
It has grown. There's been some changes, haven't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. The leaf that we put down, look at how different it looks.
Very different.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of limp because in the bags the soil kind of dried out a little bit, and so the leaf doesn't have too much shape to it. But we've got some little leaves down there. We don't know how many clones we have yet. We won't know until we actually do the dividing. But before we do that, we have to do our basic work. We have our bags labeled side. Just like in the fall, we need to punch that hole in the pot for drainage. So if you can punch that in your new pot, that will be very good. And then we're going to just tug a little bit to pull this out. And to get this to pull loose, come out of the pot, just squeeze the sides of the pot, kind of gently, not so much that it breaks it. Doing it gently? Good. And I like to keep it close to the table so it just kind of pulls right out and sits right on the table. Not a big fall. Good. Okay. And just set those two pots off to the side now. And there's another tag there, and we'll just set those tags off to the side too. So now we have to get in here and find out where our clones are. And it's easiest if we can lay it kind of on the side and just start working some soil off. Doing a good job. Just going to work that soil away till we can sort of start seeing where it's attached to the leaf. So I can see on mine, I'm going to grab that pencil so I can show you. See how there's one right there? That's just a small little clone that's really just getting going. So that's one. And over here, we can kind of tug these loose. There's one. And there's another one. And this is really a nice big one. And I do like using a pencil to kind of work them loose. And so all the clones are off. Okay, so Heidi, I made that look easy. Let's see what Heidi can do.
So what's the best way to get these off?
So work it down so you can see right where it's actually attached to the stem. Because once you see where it's attached to that larger leaf, it's going to be easy to see where they are. We're looking for a stem with the leaves attached. So see how this one is, where there's a stem, and then there are the 4 leaves that are attached to that stem. So that's what you're looking for. It's really easy at first to think that each leaf is a plant, and it's not. So, okay, so we're going to get down in there, right in there where, see where it's attaching, and we're just going to give it a little push with the pencil. Just a little push. And just lift it away. There you go. That is a beautiful one. I'll bet you can do this one now yourself because it looks like there's just 2 on this leaf. Just a little push. And it's a temptation to think you need a lot of roots now, but at big commercial greenhouses, they actually pull the roots off of these little clones so that all the plants that they're starting will keep growing at the same rate. You know, if you had too many roots, one would take off and be bigger than all the others, and it would shade them all, and then they wouldn't get the light they needed. Okay, so now comes a thing that's kind of hard sometimes for people to think about. But gardeners have to make decisions. Nature is so good that every single cell in this leaf could make a clone. And if every single cell in this leaf made a clone, we could very quickly fill up the whole greenhouse with these African violets. So we don't have those kind of resources to grow at everything. And we sure don't need millions of this particular violet. we need enough so that each student can have a violet to take home. So you have one. And so we have one to put in the store. So we have to make some good decisions. Now you have just 2, so that makes it easy because we're going to save 2. I have 4. So of those 4, which are the 2 strongest? Which are the ones we're going to keep?
I think those 2.
I think so. So we're going to set these aside and we're going to just pile those up. Those are going to be mulched and they'll go right into the mulching bed and they'll be recycled and do all those good things and there's nothing lost. So now we have 2 pots. Before we put the potting mix into it this time though, we're going to take these wicks. This is mason twine. Mason twine is made out of, I think it's rayon, and so it's a man-made material. And we're going to put a wick through this pot like this, okay? So that wick is going to hang over the rim and it's going to come out the bottom. So go ahead and see if you can do that. Just kind of poke it through that hole. You might need to use the pencil to do that. And we have to use rayon or acrylic or nylon, some kind of man-made material, because this wick is going to be under the soil. And if we put cotton or wool, that's a natural material. And the way God designed natural materials was when they were wet and in the ground, they'll start to decay. We don't want our wick to decay because that's the way we're going to get water into our violet. So that's what that wick is all about. So once you've got that, then get the wick in the other pot the same way. You did that very well. You made that look very easy. Now, with your thumb on that rim, holding that wick so it doesn't fall in, and maybe if you can, grab that wick underneath with your other fingers. It's awkward, but if you get it, it'll hold tight, okay? So we want to go into the soil now and scoop up. And our main goal is, when we're done, to make sure we still have the wick hanging out there and out there. Okay? Good luck. And just like before, we want to remember, we don't want to pack it down. That's great. Very gentle hands there. Good job. And I'm going to fill my second cup. Okay. Now we need to get our clones into the soil. So we're going to do that by making a hole right in the dead center of the pot. And we want to make sure that when we put our little plant in, that the plant is going to sit right in the very middle of the pot. So the roots will be growing out equally in both directions. And so set your little plant in one. Okay. And once you're done doing that, then gently, gently, gently tug on that wick so it just disappears under the soil. You want it just to go underneath. And then we're going to water that in. And water it until it drips. Okay. And now these are going to go right back into their bags. Seems like the violets spend a lot of time in bags, but the humidity is really important at this stage, and Las Vegas doesn't afford much humidity. In some parts of the country, if you live like on the East Coast, North Carolina or Florida, you'd be able to do this right out in open air, but not in Las Vegas. And so just like before, we're going to slide these down into a bag. We're going to put that tag on so that it's well labeled. Got it? Okay, and then the last thing we have to do is we have to make sure that there's a little extra air in there. And these are ready to go right back under the benches in our canopy, our forest canopy or greenhouse canopy, bench ag, for about a month now. And in a month, that little clone is going to be really well established. It will put a lot more roots into that soil, and it'll do some growing. And so in about a month, it's not going to be as big as this one, but it'll be ready to come out and then be watered in the open air. And that's what this wick is all about. Now this plant happens to have yarn for a wick instead of the mason twine, but this wick dangles out the bottom, and we just slide it into a hole, into a reservoir of water. And we just slide it all the way down in, that, and set it. And the violet will just take up the water that it needs. And when it needs to be watered, when the reservoir is empty, you can just open the lid up and put some more water in underneath. Or you could have another hole drilled over here so you could just pour water in and it would just run into the bottom. Either way will work. And when that gets home, then it needs to be in a bright window light. Not as bright as the greenhouse is, but in a nice east window works pretty well. Or under a lamp will work pretty well too. And this little clone should be able to be in bloom by the start of school next year. It's totally cool. Any questions?
Yes, actually. So if the clone goes under there, how does the African violet suddenly need sunlight?
Okay.
Like after it's...
Because their windows in Las Vegas don't let as much light in as the greenhouse does. Almost all of our windows are E-windows, and they kind of block light. So, and when you get a couple layers of glass and sometimes sheer curtains, then it's not as bright as it seems. So, trying to figure out if it's getting enough light is one of the hardest parts about growing violets. Generally, if it's getting enough light, it's going to lay kind of flat. If it's reaching up like this, and this one's been in a bag and not getting very much light, those leaves will start reaching up, and that indicates they're reaching for light. When they're laying down nice and flat, that's an indication that they're getting about the right amount of light. And so you just have to play with it in your house and find the right spot. Excellent question. I think that's going to do it. Heidi's ready to have a violet in just a couple of months.